My husband hates me, but he lost his memories. My husband and I were promised to each other before we were even born. Growing up, it never bothered me that we were engaged because he was so kind and gentle. He took good care of his younger siblings, he fed stray cats, and he always helped the less fortunate. If my husband had to be him, I was more than happy to marry him. But there was one problem that I never thought we could get over. He absolutely hated me. He never said it, but it was obvious. He hated our arranged playdates. He'd leave a room the second I entered it, and he pretended I didn't exist. This didn't change when we got married. We even slept in different rooms. I spent the first year of my marriage wishing I was never born so that he wouldn't have had his life controlled like this. But despite all of this, I still loved him. I knew the kind of person he was, so I couldn't help falling in love. I knew that if the circumstances had just been different, we probably would have been really happy together. Then one day, everything changed. I got a call from the hospital telling me my husband had suffered a head injury after falling down the stairs at work. I rushed over and prayed to all the gods that he would survive this. Every memory of him flashed through my mind as I drove there, and I had to stop myself from breaking down. When I arrived at his room, he was lying there sleeping with a bandage wrapped around his head. I was relieved to see him alive and look so calm. I couldn't stop thinking about how calm he looked. He was never like this with me. I only ever saw his glare. When he opened his eyes, I nearly jumped out of my seat. I was happy, but I was fully prepared to see that glare again. But there was no glare, just a look of confusion. Then, he asked who I was. I told him I was his wife, though that didn't make him any less confused. So I called for a doctor, who pulled me aside to tell me he had lost his memories. He warned me not to overwhelm him with information, because that could do more damage than good. He said I had to help him regain them, but slowly, and over time. So I did exactly that for the following months. It was the most amount of time we had spent together in all of the years we had known each other. I took him to places I knew he loved, like the beach. I'll never forget the smile he gave me as the wind blew in his hair, and his gaze was focused on me for the first time ever. He looked at me like I mattered a little more than I could ever imagine. I also introduced him to his family. Despite not having any memory of them, he still cared for his siblings as if they were still the little kids he once knew. I even took him to feed some stray cats. For the first time, he needed me and wanted my company. It felt amazing. Eventually, I got used to his warmth. I got used to him calling my name in the morning, hugging me, holding my hand. Then, things came to a head when I came home and found him lying on my bed, reading. I asked him why he wasn't in his own room. He said I had made it seem like we were a happy couple, and happy couples don't sleep apart. I instantly felt guilty. I'd unintentionally painted this rosy picture of our relationship, when months ago he wouldn't even look my way no matter how loudly I called for him. I couldn't live with deceiving him like this. So, I told him everything about our arranged marriage, the distance between us, and how he'd hated me his whole life. I was prepared for that glare again, that glare that made me wish I wasn't born, but he just shook his head and told me there was no way he could have ever hated me. He said from the moment he saw me in that hospital room, he thought I was the most beautiful person he'd ever seen. He confessed that he had feelings for me ever since we went to the beach, and whatever his past self felt, he didn't care about it anymore. He was in love with me. He then proceeded to apologize for all his past actions, saying that even though he didn't remember them, he could tell he hurt me, and he was really sorry. I remember standing there speechless. Of course, I was happy beyond belief, but then I started to worry about what would happen if he regained his memories. I was terrified that he would go back to hating me, and everything would fall apart again. He then asked me if I loved him. I chose to tell him yes, because he was loving me and making me feel seen, just like I had wanted my entire life. And I don't care how selfish it sounds. I hope he never remembers the past.